So for an actor, it's all about the story. So what was it about this story that particularly resonated?
A lot. I'm debating how personal to get here. There are aspects of the story that are very loosely based on real life events within our family, and that were potentially disastrous that ended up not being. So that's the good news there. But it's also it's sort of a three ages of man. You know, I play the character as a 62-year-old, and Sebastian Stan plays the same character as a much better-looking younger person, and Ian Armitage plays him as a 5-year-old. So it's an interesting examination of a guy's life and how he got to where he got.
So was it, without again not trying to push you on a personal level, was this story a kind of catharsis then for you to be able to revisit it and maybe try and put it to rest?
Yeah, I don't want to overemphasize that. I wasn't really revisiting, but yeah, it's a very it was a cathartic experience for me, and it's a powerful experience now to view the final product.
And for somebody who's had such a wonderful catalogue of work, what was there specifically about the writing that you connected to as well?
Really, my favorite part was that I had no lines to learn.
Amazing.
My wife wrote it and directed it, so she didn't want me to have to work too hard. So
it's lovely to be able. I think there's so much acting that can be done just through the power of the eyes and internalization. So it's nice to be able to bring that out.
Yeah. I mean, it was a great sort of a learning experience in that way. I like to think that I'm still learning, and it was really cool to have that tool taken away, and just have to be basically a mime.
And you're always a champion of independent film as well. So what is it about independent film that you particularly connect with and that you want to continue to support?
Well, the main thing to me about independent film, especially the lower the budget is that everybody's there because they want to be a part of the story. Nobody's there for the paycheck. So it's everybody's there to try and be a part of something special, and this was another great example of that.
And your wife, you said, has written the script. So what was it about her that what made it right for you to be able to be a part of this? Did you is it something that now that you're an Oscar winner you can then lend your name to? That you can...
Well, no, I mean, it was just, since we met as theater actors, 26 years ago, and then she dedicated herself to being a full-time mom for a long time, and now filmmaking has become a second career for her. So it's great to be working together again, and I'm glad that one of us is smart enough to do the grown-up jobs like writing and directing.
This is a story from your fruition. Tell me why you wanted to tell it.
It's myself and my writing partner Tony Cummings wrote it together, and I sort of wanted to tell. Actually, my uncle died of cirrhosis of the liver, and he's a good man and had a wife and 3 beautiful daughters, and somehow he ended up the end of his life in just a sad, lonely state. And I thought, how does one get from here to there, and the choices that we make, and so the character in it sort of connects the dots of his life, and some seemingly insignificant moments turned out to be really remarkable, sort of life-changing or detours. But more than anything, it's about not placing guilt, not feeling guilty for one's actions in life. Everyone's doing the best they can, I believe. We don't always make great choices, but honestly, I think everyone is doing the best they can given the circumstances or the tools that they have. And so to me, it's life-affirming, and to me, it's forgiveness, forgiving oneself, forgiving others, and just really trying to continue to make the best choices possible, which we don't always do. But it's human. We're human. Yeah.
It's being able to accept yourself for who you are.
Exactly, and everyone else. Yeah. And then there's a quantum physics aspect to it that says it's okay, too, because there are multiverses upon multiverses where you're making better and better choices. And to me, I feel that that's the evolution of whatever you want to call it, the spirit, soul, human beings, life. It's this ongoing evolution, and I do think that everyone really is trying to do the best that they can in any given situation.
And when you're working with JK
Yeah.
as well, I mean, it just is phenomenal.
Diva. What a diva. No, yeah, well, so we wrote it, the character has no dialogue.
You said
right?
that,
Yeah.
yeah.
So that was intentional. No, it was intentional, but not for humorous reasons. It was I mean, there's no better actor than JK Simmons. I am a little biased, but he, to be able to convey emotion and make connections with objects even, he's just fantastic. We actually only did like 2 takes. The first take he was perfect. You do a second take for safety. Yeah. But every take of every scene, every shot, all the crew, I mean, in tears, laughing. Yeah, I was just like, how is that? And then he's just like, then can turn it off and joke with the crew in the back, and it's a beautiful thing to see and to work with.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I was going to say for you then, but having to be objective as a director can't be easy either.
Right.
But coming from an acting background yourself, you obviously have an appreciation of where they're going to, and I imagine that your actors would be prepared to come and give you more because they know that the risk that you would take as an actor.
Yeah, well, I think more than anything I know how to talk to actors. Yeah, and I know that different processes. Some people stay in character the whole time. Some people can go in and out like JK can. So just being able to sort of immediately sort of assess what their process is. Maybe they need more direction, maybe need none at all. Just a thumbs up. And so that's exciting for me because having been an actress for a while, I love to see the process and see the connections and the subtleties. Micah Monroe's in the film, and I mean everyone. It's a ridiculously incredibly talented cast. I'm so thankful and so blessed to have the cast that I have. Micah had such subtlety. It was almost the camera. How some actors, the camera goes right in, and she has that. And Mandy Moore. I mean, forget about it. She's she could play anything in my book. She was brilliant. She just had this air, and all of a sudden she was a 1960s housewife. I mean, everyone, Sebastian Stan, and Ian Armitage and Max Greenfield, and it was just an incredibly. I felt, I think I cast it well with Mary Vernew, and I was able to just sort of stand back and go, okay, you guys do your work, and I'll say, action and cut. I'm good. You'll make me look really good. Yeah. So.
Is it nice for you as well, having been an actor, and particularly for film actors and TV actors, they don't really have control of the end product of the story like theatre actors do. So was that nice to take control of your story and be able to tell it how you want?
Yeah, good question. Absolutely. That's why, yeah, I mean, some people will say I'm a bit of a control freak because I co-wrote it, directed it, and edited it, and so co-produced it. But you do have control of the story. Nobody comes in and says, oh, audiences don't like this part, change it. Or, oh, that's not playing well. Okay, not everybody's going to like that part. Not everybody's going to think this. But I wanted to tell the story honestly as much as I can, and how I saw it, from start to finish. And this is pretty much how I saw it, along with, Tony Cummings, like I said, my writing partner, and Randle, and Eric, co-producers, and I mean, it's everybody. But we all as a team said, this is our baby, and no one's going to come in and tell us any differently. Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
You can do that as an independent.
You can do that as an independent. That's what's the beautiful thing. And then places like Raindance allow us to bring it to the world and say, this is it. We don't have to go through different studios or different marketing processes. This is a great forum for us. So, yeah, we're thankful to be here, too.
Randle, lovely to meet you this evening. Tell us more about the film.
Well, we like to say we don't want to tell too much about the film because this is definitely a film where the audience is going to take what they want out of this film. So, in a nutshell, JK Simmons, Academy Award winner JK Simmons, is a man later on in life where he has come to a place in life where he needs to figure out how he got to where he is via addiction, and I won't say more than that. he reflects on his life. It's told in non-chronological flashback order, so a lot like Memento style, where it's a puzzle that the audience is going to have to figure out how to put together. And by the end of the movie, I think it becomes an interesting puzzle in that a lot of the audience will take something else away from it, depending on your personal experience in life. So
you as a presenter, as a producer, I'm the presenter, as the producer, when you're reading a script like this, it's got to be really exciting for you to invest in and get behind and really want to champion.
Well, when the script's great, it becomes easy to attach great cast. And when you're working in the indie world, you don't have a lot of money to pay for cast. So the script has to be good in order to get good cast. So yeah, it's a fearless script. At the end, it doesn't apologize for being what it is. It really kind of slaps you in the face, and we've heard from a lot of people that we've played, insiders that we've played it for, that people are crying at the end, and really, again, depending on your personal past, it may hit you in a very personal way. And
we've got Michelle as the director and the writer as well. What do you feel was the sensitivities that she had to make her, again, really the ideal person to direct the film?
Well, interestingly enough, the film's whole climax revolves around an actual incident that happened in their lives with their young son. And I don't want to give too much away, but the big crux of the ending is based on a personal experience. So it was very personal for her, and she was able to really draw out that raw emotion, and you feel it in the movie. You feel it in the movie.
And for you, from a filmmaker's point of view, what have you taken away from being a part of the film?
Well, I'll go back to the cast. Earlier someone asked me, what do you give advice if you have advice for young filmmakers? And content is king, and the script is king. So if you have a good script, if you write a good script or find a good script, you will attract good cast. So that's how we got JK Simmons. Obviously it was a strong enough script that he said, I'll put myself on the line here. But Sebastian Stan, Mandy Moore, Ian Armitage, who's a young 7-year-old. I don't know if it's come across the pond yet, but The Big Bang Theory, which is a huge show in America, they're doing a spin-off called Young Sheldon. He is starring in that show. It comes out actually tomorrow. It debuts. So people like that are drawn to this script. From top to bottom, it's an unbelievable cast that you would otherwise have to pay. It would be a $100 million budget otherwise. But the script was good enough that they said, we'll come on, we'll do it for no money, and we'll make it.
I love about actors. They do when they believe in something. It's not about the money, it's about the craft.
Exactly, yeah. And you know what? It's not about the money for anyone, right? Top to bottom, the crew doesn't get paid what they get paid for on a Spider-Man, and none of us do, right? But it's worth it in the end when you have a good product, so.
You look like, was it The Rock?
Yeah, I was gonna say, I get a lot worse. No, I'll take The Rock. I'll take The Rock, but yeah, no, I get it all. But, yeah.
Anyway, this film, tell me what was about the story that you wanted to put all your heart, soul, and effort into it?
I think, for me, the story is basically a man looking back on his life at, different things that happened, different choices he made, and, life parallels, consequences, and is there an opportunity for you to live multiple different types of your life at the same time? I think we all, either think of like, hey, if I could, if I had a multiple shot at this, what different choices would I have made? And we spend a lot of time looking in the past, unfortunately. I think we should all stay in the present, but we all look back at our lives and say, oh, if I had dated this woman or that woman, or if I had gone to that, worked at this place versus that place, or anything really. I think, those choices sort of impact, theoretically, who we are today, right? And I think that nugget is what is at the heart of the story.
And I think because Michelle comes from an acting background as well, the storytelling is all about the truth, isn't it, really? And that just helps ground this into reality. And audiences can then really, they can connect with that, can't they, really?
Yeah, I think, we haven't shown it to that many people. Tonight will be the first time, and I think we are always fascinated because whenever someone sees it, everybody, I think, has a different take about what they actually saw, in a way, and what the story actually was. So it's sort of interesting to see that, what you think you actually, I perceive the story this way, and someone else could be like, they thought it was about that? Oh, that's interesting, so I like that. It's kind of neat to see things that aren't sort of leading you from beginning to end about what's happening, and it's sort of, it really, in essence, it's kind of set up a little bit as a mirror, right? So that's a cool little device.
from a producer's point of view, you're very much the business side of the industry. So when you're now thinking about films, now we've got online possibilities as well. Are they avenues now that producers kind of start to explore to get the film seen, not just about putting it on home entertainment, on DVD and Blu-ray and theatrical releases where
for this,
sometimes
or just
it's
in general?
generally.
In general. I mean, well, a ton of people. I mean, to me, the neatest thing that's happened is the ability with the cost of cameras. Editing software, right? I mean, everybody can do this themselves, and I think it's, the democratization of an industry that really everybody kind of loves, so it's kind of neat to see, so you have people doing webisodes, right? And I think from a content, right, we're at, what is in essence called, peak TV, right? So there is a ton of content out there, but I think the ability for people to not necessarily solely rely on gatekeepers anymore and say, oh, I need to get something, I can go do it myself, is a pretty, it's everyone I talk to, I'm like, just go do it, and if you're a good storyteller, if you're telling a small story, someone's going to notice that small story, right? And that's, to me, the funnest thing about it, right?
What were your original ideas on a visual aspect that you wanted to bring to the screen?
I think the images need to evoke the proper emotions of the script, and I had countless talks with me and Michelle, and it was a dark film. It's a dark film. So.
And on a technical level, what kind of camera were you shooting with?
We shot a Arri Alexa classic, and it was all Panavised. So it was Primos and classic vintage Panavision lenses. So.
And with regards to, because from what I learn, is that digital needs more lighting. So how did that?
Actually, Alexa's pretty good on the low light. So, and there's a lot of scenes in low light in this movie. So it performed very well. It's one of the better cameras in the low light situation. So.
And can you tell me about the relationship that you had with Michelle on a professional level?
Well, this is our second film together. So it's great because you could be, great collaborator. We've seen eye to eye on a lot of stuff. Like I would email her stuff, like if I came up with something and she'd go, yeah, I was thinking that too. And likewise, she would say, it was very organic and very easy. It's very easy to work with her.
And the way you were talking about there, it feels like there's a real collaboration, which independent film is all about, isn't it? It's getting your hands dirty and everybody.
Yeah, because it's not a big film. So, and you got to be on the same page. Short schedule, tight budget. So there's no time for experimenting later. So we prep the film a lot. I went to her house many Saturdays and we prepped the film. So together, and that's what makes your film a lot of times. Film is made in prep.
It is,
so
absolutely. Everything's about the preparation.
Yes.
The work that you put in beforehand.
Absolutely. You can't just walk in, turn the camera on and shoot it. This is not a talk show or whatever. So yeah.
When you're talking about mood, and this is a very dark film, obviously the tones of lighting that you're using as well are going to affect that to obviously help the audiences with their emotion as well and take them on the emotional journey.
Yeah, I mean there's different facets in the film, like different periods, and they all reflect. It's not like all dark, but it's like the proper illumination, if you want to call it. Seems to be in the right places.